8:21 Saturday morning, White Mountains today, yes, today, whatever, but bump. Clay Groves in the house. Fish Nerds, he knows everything that you need to know about fishing.
I know half.
Half?
Half. My partner's not here, knows the other half. So together, the Fish Nerds know everything.
Now, Fish Nerds, I know a lot of you say, oh, Clay's here, but some of you might be, there are one or two people who may not have heard about fishing.
If they haven't heard, today's the best day of your life.
Now, Clay likes to eat fish.
I do, and catch them.
And catch them. Well, catching them first is always good.
It was really hard to eat a fish before you catch it. It takes a little practice, but it can be done.
Absolutely.
It takes some work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Fish Nerds started because of you, and there is another Fish Nerd,
Dave Kellum,
who is probably out fishing right now.
So a brief history.
Sure.
Because you can go on to fishnerds.com and get the entire history.
Right.
Brief history. A few years ago, my friend Dave called me up and said, "Hey, Clay, you want to help me catch every kind of fish in New Hampshire?" And the goal was to catch them all and write some stories about it. And I never say no to stuff like that. So I said, sure, let's eat them too, because I want to take the Fish Nerds to the next level.
Sure.
And the idea of just catching them was interesting, but by eating them, it kind of increases the challenge.
Right.
And that was a couple of years ago. We completed the quest. We caught them all on hook and line. From normal fish that you can recognize like trout and bass,
sure,
to tiny dace or about an inch long, caught on a fly. And we ended it. The last fish we caught was a state record channel catfish, the biggest catfish anyone's ever seen in the state of New Hampshire.
Nice.
And we killed them all, which is one of those kind of funny things. We're talking conservation a lot. We talk about preserving species, and then we're killing all these things. So we had to always balance out, like, why are we killing these fish with eating them and all that? And by eating them, it adds that level of interest, and that draws people in. Fish and Game got involved with it, helped us decide what's edible, what's not edible.
Right.
There were some questionable things. We ate some fish. The only venomous fish we ate right here in studio.
Yeah. Okay.
With Rob. We made him take the first bite.
And survived. Well, hold it. He's not here today. So yeah, there we go.
But there are venomous fish in New Hampshire. And we asked Fish and Game, can we eat that one? And they were like, I don't know.
So generally, when people think fish, I mean, sort of the standard is, either the butter, the oil, and the cornmeal or flour or something.
Right.
So did you go beyond that?
If we were smart, which we're not.
If we were.
One of us is. If we were, he's not here right now. If we were smart, we would have fried every fish. Because if you batter and fry, it's going to be delicious. But we thought that's boring. And we were right. So we decided to kind of use a variety. And because neither of us are chefs, we use alliteration as our guide. Yep. So if it sounded good saying the name of the recipe, that's what we went for. So the mamichog, which we ate here on your station with Rob, we made chog nog. That's not alliterative, that's rhyming, but it still kind of worked.
So it was a chunky kind of thing.
Yeah, we made eggnog with chunks of mulled mamichog in it. But we did pickled pickerel. We ate it with Chris Peru on air. He almost died from that one. We made creek chub chowder. Isn't that fun to say? It's like a little poem.
Yeah.
So we used that as our guide, and sometimes we won. Sometimes it was fabulous, and then sometimes it was a terrible, terrible error.
I understand.
But all very good stories.
Well, thank you for being the fishing guinea pig, if you will.
And we didn't die of mercury poison.
Well, this is always good.
Yeah.
So now people are it is fishing time, and so what is biting here in the valley?
Well, here's
and where
here's the great thing. Mount Washington Valley, and actually everywhere in New Hampshire, in the summer, fishing is easy. If you haven't fished or you have been kind of putting it off, now's the time. Rivers are low right now.
Yes.
So finding the fish is easy because they're going to be in the pools, especially in the rivers.
Right.
So if you want to go find some trout, you could check Fish and Game website. They tell you where they stock them.
Right.
But the Wildcat River is loaded with brook trout right now. The Saco's got tons of trout in them. The Swift River on the Kankamongus full of trout.
Yep.
All easy pickings. But all the ponds around here, pea quacket, pea porridge, for warm water species like bass, are fabulous right now. And go find the weed beds and throw those lures out, and you'll get bass. It's the easiest time to fish, which is great.
And also, though, it also sort of depends. Like when you're fly fishing, you're sort of going for the fish on the surface, whereas then when you have the other lures, you're sort of going down for the bigger fish. So people who might be like trolling in a kayak with a fly rod or something, the line's on top, so they might get like smaller fish versus.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It depends on the time of day too.
Sure,
so like early in the mornings, you'll find even the cold water fish will rise to the surface. surface. So you can troll top water and do okay. If you have outriggers or any way of getting your line down to the bottom, you can catch those fish all day long. I usually fish for whatever's easy. I don't like working hard for fish. I like catching. My least favorite phrase in the English language is that's why they call it fishing. Whenever I hear that, my head explodes. I hate that. I hate fishing. I like catching. I don't believe in the fishing in the hole. I just want to be in the river and floating. I want to do that. I want to catch fish when I go out.
And do you still sometimes eat some of the fish, or it just depends, or is it catch and release?
I would say 99% of the fish I catch, we do practice CPO, I catch photo release.
Okay.
But once in a while, you'll catch that fish that's just so delicious. You get a white perch, for example, which is an temperate bass family. They're not a perch, they're a bass.
Sure.
Bass, by the way, aren't bass. They're sunfish. With a whole line of misnamed fish, but get a white perch, and it's one of the best tasting fish in the state. It's cousin to a striped bass. I likely would eat one of those this time of year, but mostly catch it, take a nice photo, let it go. And try to be as gentle as you can with them while you're doing it. I like to make scary faces at them to traumatize them a little bit, but their memory is short, so they forget anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. And now you were also talking a little bit earlier about your podcasts.
Right.
So how often do you have them, and what goes into that?
Sure. Well, let me just clarify, because most people still don't know what a podcast is. And
listening to the radio on a computer.
There it is, simple as that. If you have one of these fancy devices in your pocket, you can be listening to 150,000 different talk shows for free online. They're called podcasts. You go to your little iTunes app or your Stitcher app or whatever it happens to be, and you search for your favorite show, which should be the Fish Nerds. That's how you find us. We do about an hour-long show a week. We have guests from all over the world. We have biologists. We have lure makers, we have chefs come on our
all
show.
All sorts of people sort of in the fishing
talk about
community.
Fish.
Yeah, nice.
We've also been featured on Boston Public Radio, where they compared us to the Car Talk guy. So if you've heard Car Talk, you take a topic that's kind of boring.
Clack.
Exactly.
The tap it process.
Which is click now, right?
Well, in memory.
In memory, but you take a topic that kind of doesn't appeal to everybody, but you bring them in. Our goal with the show is to be inclusive, bring people in. So even if you don't think you care about fishing, you might really enjoy our show, because if you care about laughing, then we're there.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
And where can they find your podcast?
This is the hard part. Right? This is my grandmother can do this. You go to fishnerds.com and you push the play button.
There it is.
That's it. Simple as that. And you can hear our show. And if you're on iTunes, which most of us are with our iPhones, the newer updates of your iPhone app all have the podcast app right on it. You go on there and search for your show. So while you're looking for maybe some other show you want to watch or listen to, you listen to ours. Yeah.
Well, Clay Gross, thank you very much for stopping by, and download the latest podcast before you head on out and do some catching.
Yes, go catching.
Yeah. Catch yourself a podcast.
Yeah, and share your pictures with us at the Fish Nerds Facebook page. We've got 13,000 people who care about your fish.
And you can be one of them.
That's right.
Clay, thanks for stopping by. A pleasure. He has to go fishing now, and we will be back with more